Hi, I'm Ian McClintock, founder of Charity Excellence. This short video just explains the Funding Finder upgrade launching on the 23rd of October. If you hear a booming noise in the background, I'm in Turkey. This is Funding Finder. Over the last 4 months or so, I have been going through and significantly tackling the quality. I've been increasing more detail and more specific funders. So generally, the system is working better than it was, but I have included a number of specific things as well. So England City Council, not yet fixed, but I have added the 4 UK capital cities and about 13 other cities. This, for example, is Aberdeen. That's where I went to university, and it will now go and search for funding in Aberdeen for you. You can also do more in keyword search. So I am now uploading a lot more information about towns and areas where specific funding is. So you can pop your hometown into keyword search and you may or may not get lucky. There are 1,000 towns in the UK, so you may not. What else have I done? The other things I've done is in people and groups. I have added 5 new categories. Bid writers, I have shut down my volunteer register of charity bid writers. It was getting a bit out of date. I never liked it. We are now including bid writers within the Funding Finder. That actually makes them searchable. So you can look for particular categories, you can look for particular individuals. Not a huge amount initially, but they're all good ones. However, that will grow over time. I get so many questions about this. We just needed to add it. Community groups. We have always had small charities and community groups. But one of the problems for people like small charities and CASCs and PTAs and all that kind of stuff is you're not a registered charity. Roughly, maybe a third of charities, grant makers will fund unregistered charities. A third kind of don't say, and a third actually only fund registered charities. And so that made the small charities group a bit of a pain if you weren't a registered charity. So what I have done is the small charities group remains exactly the same. I have created a new group called community groups. So if you're not a registered charity, the community groups records are those grant makers who will fund you. However, there are nearly 800 grant makers in small charities. I will have to check every single one of them individually. That's going to take me a lot of time. I have managed to get over 100 live by Sunday afternoon in Turkey, so it is worth a search. Community groups will give you better quality results. Small charities will remain far more comprehensive until I manage to transfer everything across. Less popular causes. There are fantastic charities out there who sadly, either their beneficiaries or their cause just isn't publicly appealing to the majority of grant makers. And some grant makers find some charities a bit too shouty. They don't really like funding that sort of thing. But there are great grant makers out there who specifically support those kinds of causes. And what we've done is gone and found them all for you, and I've put them into less popular causes. Startups, again, can be a real challenge for people. You've got no track record, you're just getting started, you need people who are willing to perhaps take a bit more of a risk on you. So what we've done is we've identified grant makers who specifically say they're fine about pilot projects and feasibility and generally startups. In sector and type, I have added justice. Frankly, a bit long overdue, to be honest, but it is now in there and will now search. And I have also added multi-year funding. That is those grant makers who will fund you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years in advance. And effectively, that is it. It is targeted very much at small charities because we know that you're really struggling, but there is something in there for everyone else. And hopefully that will make securing funding and at least finding funding easier for you. Thank you for listening to me.